So for today's video, I do want to speak about the left wing position outside of Nico Williams. One of the players that we have been speaking about a lot recently has been about Dani Olmo, and mainly because of the performances that he has been having throughout the Euros. Before the Euros, every time Dani Olmo was being linked to FC Barcelona, many of us always asked why. Why would we bring someone like Dani Olmo? Is Deco okay? Does he need help? Does Deco know what he's doing? But then as the Euros went by, now going to the final, Dani Olmo has shown why he can be a very important player for his team. He's effective, he's efficient, he knows how to score goals, he knows how to provide assists. Right now, Dani Olmo is the highest player in the Euros when it comes to goals and assists combined, with a total of 5. No other player currently beats Dani Olmo in this stat. He has 3 goals and 2 assists. And keep in mind, he was not even supposed to be having these type of numbers, because in the beginning of the tournament, the player that did start over him was Pedri, and Dani Olmo was not even a starter. Like for example, in the first match against Croatia, he only played 31 minutes and he did not do anything in terms of goals and assists. In the next match against Italy, he was benched. He did not play at all. And then in the game against Albania, he finally became a starter only because they have already qualified for the next round, and then he assisted Ferran Torres. Then in the next game against Georgia, once we got into the knockout rounds, once again, he did not start and Pedri started over him, which made sense because the connection between Pedri, Yamal, and Nico Williams at that time was on fire. Dani Olmo came in later in the game and scored a goal. So many of us were like, okay, he has an assist for Ferran Torres, now he's scoring a goal. Could he possibly be building something here? But we still went with the agenda of Pedri is the better player right now, and Dani Olmo should only be seen as a super sub. And then came the match against Germany, where once again, he did not start, and it was Pedri who started over him, but he left in the game early on the 8th minute because Cruz assassinated Pedri and took him out through a knee injury. And it forced De La Fuente to say, oh my god, okay, Pedri's out. I was going to count on him, but since he cannot play anymore, I'm going to have to call up Dani Olmo. And all of us prayed for Dani Olmo to have a good performance, right? Because to lose Pedri in a match against Germany, right, the host nation, we needed Dani Olmo to be effective at the very least and to connect well with Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. And not only did he perform well, but he also scored a goal and provided an assist. He came in to save Spain, not to play for Spain, but to save Spain and to knock out Germany in their own tournament. Yes, you heard that right. Dani Olmo was the main reason why Germany have been knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Euro tournament. And then in the next game against France, he finally became a starter, mainly because Pedri is now injured, and then once again scored against France and became the MVP of the game. So he was growing through this tournament, and Dani Olmo only continued to get stronger and stronger, and he has been acting like a great number 10, a great creator who can score goals and provide assists. So from a sporting standpoint, to bring in Dani Olmo, this version by the way, to Barcelona, he fits in like a glove, because Hansi Flick will be using a 4-2-3-1 system, meaning that we're going to be needing a number 10, and Dani Olmo could be a great, phenomenal number 10 if he does keep this up. He's technical, he has an eye for goal, his passes are very sharp, and also keep in mind that not only can he play as a central attacking midfielder, but he can also play as a right winger and also as a left winger. So yes, there are chances for Pedri and Dani Olmo to play together at FC Barcelona, and I do think that if he were to join Barcelona, it would work out well, because keep in mind that he is a La Masia player. He left early, 7 to 8 years ago, mainly because he knew that he was not going to be seeing any minutes in the first team. Very similar to what happened with Eric Garcia, with Xavi Simons, with Grimaldo, and many more, because at that time, Barcelona only put their focus on signing big new players outside of FC Barcelona and never truly committing to La Masia. So now this summer could be the chance where Dani Olmo could make his return and to come back stronger than ever and fully understand right on the spot how to play at Barcelona. Now, there is one big obstacle if Barcelona do want to make this happen. It is his release clause, which is going to be around 60 million euros. And it says here that the release clause will be valid until July 20th and no longer July 15th. There was this specific factor on the clause due to the Euros, now formally approved. His clause is 60 million euros and several clubs are very interested, which basically means that after we go past July 20th, which will be in about 10 days, RB Leipzig can ask for more than 60 million euros. They can do whatever they want. They can say it's going to be 80 million euros or 95 million euros. And that's dangerous because Barcelona do want the player and they can barely get the 60 million euros. I'm just going to assume. Fabrizio also stated that Barca discussed a potential move with Leipzig before the Euros began. A deal with installments would be needed to complete any deal, but Nico Williams remains to be a higher priority. So let me give you guys a brief timeline on what's been going on in the past 3 months, because this whole thing about Dani Olmo and Barcelona is nothing new. 3 months ago, we first heard from Ferran Martinez that Barcelona has made Dani Olmo a serious target for the summer. 2 weeks after that, Jerry Romero followed that with Dani Olmo's father and the agents met with the club today in Barcelona. A month later, after Jerry Romero pointed that out, Alex Pintanel also came in and stated Barcelona has already made contacts with Dani Olmo's agent, who has a 60 million euro release clause. And then 22 days ago, it was reported that Deco has conveyed their interest to Dani Olmo's agent. The sporting director wants to lay the foundations now so the club can make a move when they're ready to do so. The club's idea also is to negotiate with RB Leipzig and find a formula. So again, this is nothing new. We have been hearing this whole thing about Dani Olmo and Barcelona over the past 3 months, and Barcelona have geared up. I'm pretty sure that they do have a formula in place to make this transfer happen. I don't know if they're going to be bidding a lower amount to RB Leipzig before July 20th. I don't know if they're going to be doing installments or if they're going to be doing 40 million euros plus 20 million euros in variables. I don't know what Barcelona are going to do as of now. Most likely we will be getting those type of details in terms of the offer after the final is over between Spain and England. Now here's the thing. I'm a little confused right now from a sporting perspective and financially, because are you going to tell me that Barcelona are planning to sign Nico Williams and Dani Olmo? Because there is no future that I see where Barcelona say we're going to be signing Dani Olmo over Nico Williams. There's no way. Nico Williams has to be the priority no matter what. I don't care if Dani Olmo scores a hat-trick against England in the final. Nico Williams is the priority because sportingly it makes much more sense for Hansi Flick's system. We need a pacey winger. So the only way I can see this right now into the future is Barcelona going for both and potentially spending 106 million euros on the attack. I don't really know about that, to be honest, because I would much rather use the 60 million euros that they might spend for Dani Olmo elsewhere. Maybe for a pivot. It could go for Amadou Onana from Everton or Zubimendi. But the problem is, right, the only reason why Barcelona might even spend 60 million euros outside of Nico Williams would be because the club is allowing for installments to happen. I don't know if Everton would allow us to pay in installments for Onana. I don't know if Real Sociedad are going to be okay with installments to pay for Zubimendi. Maybe the reason why Barcelona is okay to spend 60 million euros on Dani Olmo and outside of Nico Williams is because RB Leipzig might do Barcelona a favor and pay for the player in installments. So I'm trying to make sense of this, because are you going to tell me that Barcelona do see the CDM position safe? Like, do they see that position covered? Could there be some things that we just don't see right now coming from the eyes of Hansi Flick? Because what if he does have different ideas? What if he's like, okay, I am okay with Barcelona spending this amount on these two quality attackers, and that is because Hansi Flick sees Andreas Christensen as a reliable CDM, or maybe Kubarsi as a reliable CDM, and to play right next to either Frankie or Gavi? What if those could be the ideas, and why we have not heard about Barcelona really prioritizing the CDM position? It is because maybe Hansi Flick sees the solution inside Barcelona already. What if Hansi Flick does say, I'm convinced by Casado's performances and we no longer need to sign a pivot? Casado's a candidate. Kubarsi is also a candidate. Andreas Christensen, of course, a candidate. What if Hansi Flick maybe says Gavi and Frankie will be my double pivot? Who knows? And so we'll see how these things do evolve as of now. But right now, it does seem like Barcelona might be heading towards the direction of signing Olmo and Nico Williams, a very Spaniard attack. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.